Welcome into Drew's Daily Diamonds for Tuesday, February 4th, 2025. I am Drew Martin breaking down the slate of games. Let me know in the comments below as we got a pretty monster college basketball slate here for Tuesday night. Where you agree, where you disagree, all is welcome. Your picks for tonight for this upcoming week. I'll be in there as well, chiming in. Smash that like button if you're liking the content. As we got first game up, a big one here in the SEC, nationally televised primetime game, 7 p.m. on ESPN. It is Kentucky and Ole Miss from the Pavilion in Oxford, Mississippi. It is Ole Miss -3 to as high as -3.5. Home favorites, 157 being the total. Top 25 matchup here, guys, with Kentucky coming in as the road team off of the loss at home against their former coach, John Calipari, kind of surprise fashion against Arkansas. So in bounce back mode, a big game for them to get here. And they're up against Ole Miss, who is not playing their best basketball. They've lost 4 of their last 5 games. I had Ole Miss circled to be on in this spot, but I wasn't really expecting Kentucky to go down last game. And I don't want to – you shouldn't penalize Ole Miss too much. I mean, they're 16-6 on the season, and losing 4 of their last 5, it was a really tough schedule. I mean, and looking at the schedule spot here, this is their 3rd straight home game. So it's kind of a tough side handicap. Instead, guys, I look at each of these two teams last time out. Kentucky, they went over the total by 15 points in their last game against Arkansas. Ole Miss went over the total by 30 points last game. Both of these two teams we know are going to go up and down the court, a ton of possessions, good on the offensive end. They are good on the defensive end, but sometimes, you know, when you get top caliber teams here, top 25 matchup, offense overtakes it. I think we get the possession number as well, 157. Don't be surprised if this is like 86, 80, something like that. I think we get into the 160s. We're going over 157, Kentucky and Ole Miss to tip us off. We got next one up, 10 p.m. Eastern. So we got 3 late night games. Going to do 4 games on the show for you. It's 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Peacock. It is Pauley Pavilion, Los Angeles, California, Michigan State, and UCLA. Big Ten Conference matchup here. 141 being the total, -2.5 to -3. That's UCLA as the short home favorite. UCLA has been a team, if you've been watching the show, kind of a little golden goose for us. We've been riding them the last couple games, and sure enough, they've been cashing tickets. UCLA is a streaky team. I mean, they've won 5 straight. Before that, they lost 4 straight. They won their last game by 25 points. So they're a team I'm actually looking to be betting on. The problem is Michigan State's pretty good themselves. They had a 13-game win streak that was lost in their last game. They lost to USC. But it kind of brings me to the next part of this is, you know, sometimes the Big Ten Conference is helping these teams travel west to the LA schools, and they're going back-to-back, USC, UCLA, or UCLA, USC. So instead of going from East Lansing to Los Angeles on a short turnaround, you know, Tuesday night from a Saturday game, Michigan State staying out in Los Angeles, I actually think it helps the spot for the Spartans. And again, I don't want to go up against the Bruins here, but it does bring me to the total on this game as well, 141. You look at both of these two teams, 17 and 26 combined to the under. That's a pretty important stat here, and particularly for the Michigan State side. This is a team that's averaging over 70 possessions a game, but you go to their last 2 games, just 64 possessions average. They're playing slower tempo basketball. Both teams with good defenses here. I think 141, I think we actually stay under. I think we stay in the upper 120s, 130s here. We're going under 141, Michigan State and UCLA. Got 2 games left. It's actually the last 2 games on the card. So we'll hit the first one here, nationally televised, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific on ESPN from the Marriott Center, Provo, Utah. It's BYU, -1 point home favorites. 151 being the total. We're talking Arizona and BYU here. Arizona comes in 15-6 on the season, 9-1 in the Big 12 Conference. BYU 15-6 on the season as well, 11-1 at home. This is a tough team to beat at home. They're actually on a 19-1 home run here. So their last 20 games playing in Provo, they've only lost 1 of them. They've scored 80-plus points in 3 straight home games. They scored 93 points last time out. And this is a team that shoots a lot of three-pointers. I kind of like betting on teams that are good from the three-point line, particularly when they're at home. And sure enough, last game, 44% from beyond the arc. Both teams have won 4 straight, both straight up and against the spread. So you can kind of make arguments for both sides of this. Arizona is a good team, but I like BYU -1 here. And mainly for the Arizona side, it's back-to-back road games. They did beat Arizona State, their rival. Now it's the next game against BYU here. Tough place to play in Provo, short turnaround as well. And the game before they played Arizona State, it was a game I lost on. They hit that buzzer beater at the end to force it in overtime against Iowa State. That was a home game. Almost feel like, that was one of the – I don't like bringing up bad beats too much, but being on Iowa State, that was definitely the worst beat I've taken this season. So I think Arizona's being a little bit overpriced here. BYU underpriced, -1. I think it's short. I think the Cougars are the side here late night on ESPN. Got one game left for you as we're adding an extra one for Monday. But a reminder, guys, it is $5 Tuesday at WagerTalk.com. Experts page Drew Martin got a 4%er up game of the week for just $5. So you can check that out. One of the games we are not going over on today's show. Also, Super Bowl action up and available. WagerTalk.com. All plays discounted to just $5. Comment below, smash that like button as we got the last game up, 11 o'clock Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Hopefully a watch and win opportunity as we're heading to the Thomas and Mack Center, Las Vegas, Nevada. It's Boise State and UNLV, 141 being the total. The Broncos of Boise State -2.5 point road favorites. They come in 15-7. UNLV just 11-11 on the season. They've lost 4 straight games. I think the market's kind of pouring it on them a little bit too much, though. If you go over these last 4 games, they covered 2 of them. Their head coach, Kevin Kruger, there was a good article in the Las Vegas Review-Journal. I mean, they were right there in all of those games. So it could have been 4 wins. Instead, it's 4 losses. The defense is really good at turning their opponents over. And sure enough, Boise State, their point guard has 12 turnovers the last 4 games. So I think that's actually going to work in UNLV's advantage. Get extra possessions, turning Boise State over. Boise State hasn't been that great on the road. They've lost 3 straight on the road. And really their last 4, they're just 2-2, against the spread anyway. So, ATS-wise, even though UNLV's lost 4 straight, it's really the same thing here. I go back to the turnover percentage, UNLV's defense. I think they're able to do enough here. Catching 2.5. I think it's the home dog barking in the Running Rebels. It's UNLV to finish off the show. +2.5. Hopefully get a winner for you late night Tuesday night with BYU -1 as well. In the recap here, we got Michigan State, UCLA under 141, and we're tipping off Kentucky and Ole Miss. We're going up and over 157. 4 games for you on the Tuesday slate. Let me know in the comments below if you agree. If you disagree, your picks. It helps the algorithm grow on the show, guys. Smash that like button. Check out $5 Tuesday. Drew Martin checking out. We'll be back tomorrow. Come back and join us. Until then, cash those tickets. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.